Bonjour la classe. Okay, so for today, we're going to do une dictée sur la famille. We have 2 lessons left this week before next week being our finals. And so today's lesson is planned carefully so that you can practice a couple of great skills over the special person interviews we've been doing. So by the end of class today, your aim is to be able to listen, écouter en français, and write phrases to describe the family of someone in class. So earlier this week, we've done a special person interview of someone, and this dictée is based on that person. So it is familiar vocabulary, sentences that you've seen, that you've written, that you've had a quick quiz on. And so this is another way to engage with it, but practice the skill of like, how is it written? How does it sound? So you need to get yourself ready with a piece of paper, pen and paper, so that you can have the screen up and then you can be writing on the paper as you go. So you're going to have 3 lines for each phrase that you hear. On the first line, you're going to listen and write the French that you hear in as best French as you can, but it will have mistakes in it. So let's go. Usually when we do this live, I repeat the sentence 3 times. Since you're watching this on video, you have the capability to rewind, play like 3 times yourself. So I'm actually only going to say this once. I'm going to say it at a fairly slow pace so that you can write. I also want you to have this up on the screen in case I indicate to you what punctuation you're using. But really for today, the only punctuation you will hear is point, point, which is when you put a period at the end, okay? Just so you know how much space you're going to be taking up, there are going to be a total of 6 sentences you're going to hear today, 6 phrases, okay? So get yourself ready. On you go. Numéro 1. Il y a un garçon qui s'appelle Daquan. Point. Numéro 2. Il habite à Fort Wayne avec son père. Point. Numéro 3. Il y a 6 personnes dans sa famille. Point. Numéro 4. La mère de Daquan s'appelle Brenda. Point. Numéro 5. Elle a 43 ans. I'll repeat that one. Elle a 43 ans. Point. Et numéro 6. Elle est maladroite et intelligente. Point. Okay, class, I'm going to continue on this video, but you need to pause and replay up to 3 times, or a little bit more if you want, but don't spend a super long time on this, to re-listen and get those sentences as good as you can. Think about your accents, think about the spelling, but don't cheat and don't stress about it. Okay, so now we're going to check, and so on the line below, pardon. On the line below, you're going to write corrections and preferably use a different color to do this, circle, highlight, and then on the Google form, you're going to tell me how many errors you got total, just as an indication of, you know, how you're finding it today. So it's not going to affect your grade, just be honest so I know where you're at. Oh, This didn't come through line by line, as it usually does. Oh, well. Okay, so numéro un, this is the spelling. Where is my little pointer? Okay, so numéro un. Il y a un garçon qui s'appelle Daquan. Garçon has the say cedille. And Daquan is, no, I mean, if you spelled that wrong, you don't have to circle that one. That's not French, that's the name. So I'll forgive you for the name. He might not, but I do. So don't count this as one of your errors. Il habite à Fort Wayne avec son père. Now these accents are important. So A, accent grave, et père, E, accent grave. The direction is important, the position is important. If you didn't get that, that's okay, but that counts as an error. So you need to write it below or above, however you're doing it, and write it out again. And then that would count as an error, okay, on your first line, on your line. Okay. Il y a 6 personnes dans sa famille. If you wrote 6 like this or you wrote 6 like that, that's okay. If you wrote any other number, then it's wrong. La mère de Daquan s'appelle Brenda. Point. So again, mère has an accent grave. That's important. Don't worry if you spelled Daquan wrong. Don't worry if you spelled Brenda wrong. Okay, we're looking at the French. If you spell a name wrong, it's not the end of the world. All right, next one. Numéro 5 was the hardest in my opinion because you've got this big long number. Thanks, Daquan. Elle a 43 ans. 43 ans. So I wrote it out because this is what we did when we did it together in class. But this is the number 43. So if you wrote the number 43, 43, or you spelt it out like that, then you're fine. If you got anything else, it's an error, and write it out again. Okay. And then numéro 6 was also pretty hard because Daquan gave us a brand new adjective which nobody has ever seen before. So, elle est maladroite et intelligente. My guess is you would have got most of the sentence right except for maladroite. Because this sound right here, doit, isn't spelled like how it sounds. So it's really hard, especially if you've never seen it before or you've seen it only one time in your life before. That's why repetition helps. Repetition helps. So again, it's okay if you made that mistake, circle it, write it out again. So you learn that word, maladroite, maladroite, and type it in. All right, so pause the screen, make all the corrections you need, count up the total number of errors that you made and tell me in the Google form. So after you've done that, you're going to translate into English each of the lines, and there's a space on the Google form for you to do this. So it will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It says like, what is it from French to English? So in French, this says, il y a un garçon qui s'appelle Daquan. You tell me in a Google form, what does that mean in English? So this is how you're going to finish with line 3. Submit that Google form so I can see that you've done it and I can see on your understanding of what it means. Don't translate into English by taking this and putting it into some Google Translate. That doesn't tell me anything of what you actually know. Tell me just based from your own brain, from having been part of this special person interview and listening and understanding in the French, what you understand. Okay? Merci beaucoup. Au revoir, classe. C'est fini pour aujourd'hui.